Alright guys, it is game 2 from the first match of the day. Our Slavs on the attack this time, Argonautes on the defense. We're loading into the unit selections. And it's back to you guys. Tell me what units we're seeing, what classes we're seeing, and what do we expect from this game.
So, one thing I didn't mention last time was actually hero classes. So one thing we've seen with all teams is a minimum of one glaive. And it's good players on those glaives, and rather I think it's the utility base of the speed up or the damage buff. But for me, a lot more heavies on both sides than I'd expect in the current meta, and then a double gold's actually coming out, so a similar team comes to me.
It is similar team comps. You do see an extra glaive. Oh no, no longer. I was gonna say an extra glaive on Slavs, but no longer. You do see quite a few less have over on the Slavs this time, while you have significantly more on Argonauts.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about the weapon classes from last week. We seeing on the Argonautes side, and they're right now the winners from last game, so they might be right on the weapon classes here. Way more short swords and mauls, and only one poleaxe, where Slavs are still staying a couple of poleaxes. Not saying that is the difference maker, but it's definitely interesting to see that teams are maybe adjusting their weapon class choices here.
Absolutely. I want to see how, considering what they just did with the Sally out, I want to see if Slavs have got anything prepared to defend against those cannons on those right sides. Can't see any kind of defense units on that, by the way, apart from some shield maidens.
Hey, shield maidens are they can definitely put their own work in here and there, though. There's no cash eggs. We did see that at one point during the last match, though. They didn't exactly get so much use as I'd like to see.
So, looking at this right side already, I am seeing the defense units being put in place, and the Argonauts doing the jump already. So let's see if they get any value. Let's see if they get any of these cannons, and if not, where are they going to go? What are they going to do with it?
They're setting up around the cannons, ready to defend them. Do they get? They do get
one. No. None as of yet.
One cannon. So it is the further back one here. Very nearly getting that that second one. Oh, just failing to close it out. They were very much prepared for that sally. You don't see nearly as much denial, though. The left tower isn't being pushed currently.
Absolutely, but I want to see. Okay, what are they going to do about this this defense of, or are they going to deny the ram?
I do wonder. We can see that the Slav guys are also trying to climb up on the right wall. They're trying to destroy the RD that is there. They're slowly being pushed back by Argonautes on that location, though. So
one trap being used to kind of as a utility to help this breach go down. So I think we could see a left breach push here. Argonauts should kind of be aware of this if they're using that utility on this. It's at least one or two more guys over here. It is kind of left empty.
We do see a lot of cav active right now from the, or not active, in the bank right here from the Argonauts, ready to pull whenever they need. So it'll be interesting to see how they counter with that on pushes. They look to be gathering on that tab right side, though, with a few members.
Yeah, totally. Alright,
so,
better quickly push B and then we'll continue. Yeah.
Press V?
B.
Oh.
Yeah, that's better. Just takes a little bit of, yeah, alright, good. Breach down on the right side as well. Left breach is really low. I wonder if they're saving that for later, perhaps.
We do see a different setup from the Argonauts compared to the Slavs. They're setting up in this side alley here, ready for this push on the tab right side. Whereas you saw initially the Slavs are set up all around A, and then transitioning over to supply a little bit later. Definitely more spread out than we were in the first match.
So this looks like it could be a QRF, kind of a quick reaction force to wherever Slavs are pushing. They're as a big 15 blob, so they are looking to fight 15v15 or force that, which we like to see.
Yeah, definitely. Argonautes is still trying to keep some heroes on the wall to get a feel of where Slavs is rotating. We can see one guy still all the way on the left next to the breach there. Left breach is down, by the way, so that is now open just as well.
I'd like to see what type of units they're bringing in here to initiate these engagements on the attack. A few Shenjis. There's actually a couple Zyklene militia. No, it's just one Zyklene militia. The ball boys. Some people know them. Interesting on the engagement, and they are again giving that tab right supply over to Slavs. Though they are, no, they're just posturing with their heroes here.
Yeah, so I do sort of notice something, which is Slavs are opting for this for usage of flames, but I don't see that. Oh, I do see that now. Sorry, it might be a quick.
Yeah, each side has their own flames ready to engage wherever they need be. We do see something a little bit more interesting. Slavs definitely more broken up and more strung along. You were seeing the same strategy, though not nearly as dense from Slavs here. You have some heroes still back around A, one down by the supply point, and then some cav even in the back hanging out on the Slav side, still remaining where they are, ready to react on the Argonaut side. And they're not actually pushing for that back supply.
Absolutely. So it looks like a similar route they're going to take. They're going to go for this supply kind of push. So how are Argonauts? They're already moving. So how are they going to deny this? Are they just going to give this over?
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to give it up and go for the fight here. This is very interesting. They're just sitting there waiting and waiting. They might be confident after the first game that they can win the 15v15. We'll see.
Definitely trying to force it here.
I think it's a smart tactic from Argonauts. It gets you away from the Trebs. I mean, they've already forced 3 out of them from the side of Slavs. So it forces them away, and it forces them into that big 15v15 in the center of the map, where actually, yes, heroes will send in the units and go back to the supply. Exactly. I want to see if they block that supply, so that if they do get that advantage, they don't have to deal with that supply of units.
Here's what I don't like, though. Slavs will be able to take out the units that they want if they want to switch it out. Of course, those units will be walking back. They could be picked up. But Slavs can choose the approach right now. But Argonauts seem to be very confident that their Flamers and also the Sarkalian will be able to win this skirmish inside the alleys.
I think part of the reason here is they're looking to deny a lot of the Treb opportunities that they would normally have by pushing in that alleyway. Over here, it's definitely a worse Treb spot, and it looks like they're going in for the engagement here. Maybe a little bit of posturing, a little bit of probing.
Absolutely. So we've got the big 15. Yeah, this is just out of position of the Trebs. They've actually done their research here, I think. A lot of the Shenji background fire. That's 2 Shenjis from. They're just absolutely slicing through them, actually.
And we do see a flank on that ranged on the backside of those Shenji being cleaned up a little bit by some claymores. Meanwhile, we have some cav from the Slavs over here. Looking to get some work done. Taking the long route, definitely. But I think they're winning this engagement here.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like Argonauts had the flank there on the range, on the Sifos, on the Shenji, but then Slavs also came back in with the Cav to clean it up on the backside, and I believe they also won their front fight as well. Very good engage.
Something really important to note is that Argonauts have just lost all of their first units. So are they going to choose to come round the back and defend from home? And if so, where? And will Slavs use all of those first units again? Will they opt for the unit change? Are they going to opt for that 15v15 in favourable terms? Or are they just going to waste some of these units from Argonauts? That's what I'd like to see, just kind of getting some utility out of those half-broken units that they've got.
I definitely want to look out for RG Ivan Blade and who's the other flame player on the Argonaut side? Let's see here. It's Wolf Silent. I definitely want to see how they are proceeding and how their stats line up at the end of the match here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it seems like the Flames definitely had a lot of work done in those engagements.
Now you can imagine that, right? In those small engages, and also remember Wolf Silent and Van Blade both being the team captains of these respective teams, so they are deciding when and where the fight is going to happen. Meanwhile, these Hussars might be called out here from my stun. Yep, there we go.
Yeah,
So that's one Hussar down.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
That is a big loss.
That's an unfortunate loss of those Hussars.
Yeah.
We do see some, not engages, but some posturing over here on the backside, though I don't necessarily know how much they want to allocate over here. Seems to be that 9 and 6 split that you were talking about earlier around the backside versus the front. Unless they want to pull the whole team back here.
Yeah, and we can also see Z-Mac on the far left with the cataphracts also trying to flank as the single one player coming from the other side.
Absolutely. I don't see enough from Argo in regards to kind of denying this setup from Slavs. They are pushing them into a tread positive scenario here. This passageway has got, if they force them into that choke and kind of take that corner, all they have to do is kind of sit there and wait for the units to kind of kill themselves on those trebs. But I'm not seeing much in regards to denying them. It seems like they are just pushing for this bottom right, but kind of giving them some space on the home point, keeping them away from those trebable areas. But they've got the cataphracts roaming behind. Not much use of the Shenjis, although we have just heard the word go. They have taken that corner, like we was talking about. Now, how do Argonauts deal with this?
It's definitely going to be a challenge for Argonauts here, especially with them not using a lot of those trebs earlier. Either Argonauts can decide to take the engagement here and suffer the consequences of those trebs, or Slavs can decide to take the engagement and lose that advantage that they may have.
Yeah, and I just want to point out.
Interesting to see.
Yeah, and I just want to point out this approach is so interesting. We can see both teams trying to flank around. You can see the courtyard there on the right side of the map, left side of the screen right now for you guys who are watching. Argonauts trying to flank here, but Flaps have seen them and they're now killing them. RGR West going in there, killing those claymores.
So here we are. We're going to be taking home. They are just kind of creeping onto there, popping some units right on that edge, trying to keep them in that trebable zone. And then pushing those shields and working with those shields really, really nicely. But they are leaving their flank half open there for those other shields and the fortes to come. So big flames right here. Big flames right there on the left side. Working really well to keep those defended. But Slavs are kind of encircling them and breaking them from all sides. Got some fortes coming from the back here. But in fairness, they should be watching the back. It
actually seems like Slavs is getting cleaned up a little bit here, losing a lot of their units to some VGs, their shield maidens included, and we're seeing some cav play coming out right now. But it seems like Slavs might be actually winning this engagement here, closing out the team, though they are delaying it a little bit, waiting for some respawns.
So that's that, sending your unit in, going back to supply, bringing in that makes an 18v15 at the time, blocking that back supply with Galahads, securing that back front, not giving a shit about these fortes in the background. And then just now they wipe up their heroes. Now they wait for their heroes to come in. They've got a long tree of units that will be coming in through with their heroes. Yeah. And they've got the Medal set up with the Shield Maiden.
Absolutely. And Slav's only hope now is the Cav to come in. We can still see Hussars and Cataphracts in their lineups, but those guys are going to take 20 to 30 seconds to come in. So will they be in time? That's the question here.
I think Argonauts maybe used a little too many resources on those early engagements and they've definitely been losing a lot of their units that they could have used for this home point.
Absolutely, but if you look at the unit difference at the top right there, by the way, if you swap them around and that's the correct number, currently Argonauts sat on 377 units left, with 949 going down slowly for Slav. So they barely lost any units. You can see it on the tab menu. Only grey units really left for.
Yeah, and that just now was the final cav from the Cataphrax list. And there still comes the Hussars with Suliang, but they might be too late. The Dual Blade jumping on the point, he just makes it, but his Hussars are gone. Julian is still there. He's the last one alive. It's Emissary also trying to come back, but that's GG for Slavs. Well played by those guys here, taking it back.
Absolutely. Wow, some big fights there. Interesting note is there was only 2 engagements, and the map was won on 2 engagements. It was one on the middle point to A, and then on that right side onto home point. And really nice team fought by Slavs right there. A lot cleaner than what Argonauts had, even though it was very precise. But Argonauts kind of just crumbled after that first fight, in my opinion. They did seem to get it back, but they didn't get enough of those hero kills to limit those extra units that was going to come in, and then start to, wipe out what you've got left. Standout players for me are Durez, like you said, Saki, to be fair.
Yeah, it's definitely seeing these players. We see the like, especially Wolf Silent over here. You see over there a lot of those maidens killed, some VGs, but especially those maidens that were lost. And then over on the left, I found this a little bit funny. RGI Van Blade. Oh, sorry, RG Ivan Blade. You actually see him taking out a flame of his own. Interesting to see. Hopefully that was a flame taking out the other flame. That's just my own little headcanon there. But it's interesting. Yeah, Robrick up at the top here, definitely pulling out those numbers. A lot of unit damage, 16 million unit damage, whereas over on the other side it's only 8.5 million damage from Excalibur.
Absolutely. Standout player for me on Argonauts was Suliang, and then it was Argerez for me on Slavs. What about you guys? Who do you think? MVPs.
Honestly, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say with these matches. Someone I noticed quite a bit of was where is he here? I'm terrible with remembering. Denatax. I just saw him around the map where he needed to be and what he needed to do a lot of the time, but I don't know. It's what happened here and how it didn't get closed out. I think it's just Plebs played, not Plebs, one at a time, but Slavs played excellent here today, and it closed out.